I left earlier than I planned to go to the QA, see the consultant again. And he was pretty convinced it had come back. So, and I can remember going into the surgery, into the room and saying, I'm frightened. And
because you had one on the other side as well, didn't you, by then?
well, I had a scan, PET scan, and they found it in 3 places. Because at first they thought they'd do another operation. But then there were 2 tumours here. There was some here in glands. And there was, they'd never found the primary site in the beginning, and that's what they were worried about. So I knew that could be loitering around somewhere, although you obviously always hope that it's gone and that's it. But they found what they think is the primary site on my tongue. So they weren't going to do an operation, they were going to do aggressive treatment. And that, I think that was August when I noticed it come up again, and the treatment started at the beginning of October.
At this point, Jackie had arrived, had made the...
October
took me.
October the 2nd it was, we met up again for the first time.
But you made the decision.
I did, yes,
I
made, yeah.
I needed to do this.
Yeah, it was something I wanted to do, because, but for me as much as for Claire, I think, I just need it.
You did like being needed as well, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly
and I
gave
did
me
need you.
Yeah, you did. It certainly gave me a purpose again.
But it sounds like you could do it. What you needed, Claire, Jackie could provide. It wasn't as if it was an unbalanced
relationship. That's something I've never done before.
I trusted Jackie implicitly.
Yeah, which was nice actually.
Absolutely. I mean, she did everything for me that I couldn't do, and I couldn't do it even my bottom.
Yeah.
Hospice,
yeah.
There was absolutely there's no barriers.
No.
At all.
But it's something I've never done before. It's never been asked of me, or I've never, I've not had to look after a parent or anything like that. But
you said you wouldn't want to do it for anybody else.
No, I did. Well, I don't know if I could.
Not to that extent.
But for somehow, I had to, and I wanted to do it. I had that because she was in such a bad way, and I thought, well, some mornings I think, oh God, I've got to get up and go to the QA, and I thought, well, all I'm doing is driving the car, really. Claire was going through the treatment. I thought, well, she can get up every day and do it, then so can I. And I suppose, but it was. I was absolutely worn out by the end of it, and you must have been, well, even worse. You were worse than, I was tired, your mum was tired, because I think at the end of the 6 weeks your mum was having to come, wasn't she, because you could barely walk.
How the treatment affected you physically and mentally, because you both have mentioned how appallingly ill you were, and how difficult it was for you to keep going.
Well, I mean, most of my faculties went. The normality of them disappeared. Because of not eating, I lost the weight. I got very weak. I was very, very depressed, which led to that sort of suicidalness. I didn't even know I was depressed until they told me I was depressed at the hospice. Because all I just kept saying, I'm in so much pain, just give me a pill. That's what I kept saying.
Yeah.
Just give me a white pill. Now why it was white, I don't know. Just give me a white pill, that's all I want. Just let me go to sleep forever. But so I couldn't walk eventually. I'd lost all my what do you call them? My muscles.
Your pelvic floor.
Yeah, all those, the pelvic floor muscles, so that I couldn't, and the back muscles, so I couldn't clench and.
So were you incontinent?
I was numb. It was like numb.
Not as a, you weren't.
No, I wasn't incontinent.
No.
No, But
It was.
I was just numb.
Yeah.
I was just numb there. I had strange vision. I couldn't see properly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I had tinnitus. I couldn't hear properly. I had numbness in the end of my fingers.
You did.
Um,
God, I'd almost forgotten about all that.
yeah, obviously I couldn't eat properly. I didn't really do anything for those months. Because I read, I'm a very avid reader, but I even gave that for a while. I didn't watch the TV. And actually in hospice they said to, doesn't she ever watch the TV?
Yeah,
Someone said that to you,
yeah.
didn't they? Because I just used to sit there and I'd look at the clock and watch the hands go round. Everything was an extreme effort. I didn't want to do anything, and afterwards one of the nurses at the hospice actually said, we used to have our little meetings and say, how can we encourage Claire? How can we inspire Claire to want to get up, get dressed, go to the day room or something? I was not interested at all in anything. And this doctor was asking me what I thought were totally inane questions, totally irrelevant, like when had I first been to pray? Well, actually, that just reminds me, the doctor who came to the cottage hospital, and I was saying I wanted to die, I want to go to the hospice, I want to die. He asked me if I'd got a pet. And me being in my very antagonistic way at that time, thought, what the hell has that got to do with it? I'm telling you I want to die, and you're asking me if I've got a pet. You know, I was very angry about that, because I was in a dark place that I didn't even know where that place was. Nobody at all. I've heard people say on occasion, I can't go on, I want to die, but they're well. And it's just because they're going through a bad time. They don't really want to die. And then they admit that, you know, oh, it was just a bad patch, it was just, you know, I just didn't feel I could cope, sort of thing. Well, it's very hard to be frightened of eating.
Yeah, you were, weren't you? Very frightened of eating.
I put a plate of food in front of me, I just wanted to cry.
Because
Of the effort of eating it, of swallowing, of not choking. Because I did used to...
You used to gag quite badly,
choke.
even on soup, didn't you?
Because of sort of reflex action going on. And also, I suppose, not eating orally for quite a few weeks. Months, wasn't it?
Months,
And just being fed through the tube. You know, and then...
And the first meal we went out for with your family this year, that was Easter Sunday, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, it was coming out of the hospice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and Sylvia booked us. Oh God, where was it? The Fox and Hounds at Lavant or somewhere. Funtington, that's right. And you got really quite overwhelmed by that, didn't you?
I had to leave the room.
Yeah.
Well, it was busy.
It was. I don't think your mum sort of really thought it through.
Food was going on and all that stuff, and I'd come out of this womb at the hospice.
It was. But you've come over that now. We we don't go out for meals per se, but we have cake and coffee and.
It has an incredible psychological effect as well as a physical. Well, for me anyway, as well as a physical effect. It's totally changed my life, totally and utterly. And it's every day, actually, when I wake up now in the morning, I think, oh, I've got another day. It wasn't that long after being at hospice that I did feel I must want to live because I'm eating Ryan's food.
Tell us about Ryan's food and your eating.
Well, Ryan was fantastic. I mean, Ryan is fantastic with his food, making the most gorgeous food and going to the trouble of asking what you can eat, what you would like to eat, how we can do it, what should we do. Started off liquidising food, then it got slightly more solid. And he was just magical, really, just wonderful. And he was a huge part of my recovery.
Yeah,
We told him that, didn't we?
Yeah, many occasions, yeah.
And I used to look forward to that food. When I went to bed at night and went to sleep, I'd be looking forward to that bowl of porridge in the morning. Then I'd, be looking forward to the food at lunch.
So letting go has been a struggle for me, if I'm honest. I've found that hard. Because, Claire wants her life back and she's well enough to have it back, and I don't know,
Yeah.
it's been difficult for me to stand back, I think. I still do feel a huge amount of responsibility for Claire. I don't need to, there's no need for me to, is there? We're just friends, but...
Yeah, but it goes deeper than that.
It does, yes, of course it does for me, it does. It always will do, but it's...
for both of us.
But yeah, letting go has been tough, very tough.
But what I'm amazed at with you, Jackie, is that you chose to do, and this is a very good choice of word, and it's meant with huge respect. You did a very noble thing.
Somebody said that. Well, I didn't. Yeah, someone else said that about me actually to someone else. Yeah. I didn't. I just saw it as something I had to do for this woman I loved. Yeah, and I did get very protective. I think, and I still am. I know I still am too. Sometimes a bit too much probably. It's. But no, it was just something I think if we hadn't had those 3 years apart, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. Maybe. But because we did, and Claire respected that, my wishes, but I never, I don't know if I probably ever really got over her anyway, but I just had to do it, for me and for Claire.